90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent, and here are the top stars. Ceasefire talks collapse as Israel plans expanded military operation in Gaza. INEC warns politicians over premature 2027 campaigns. Primate Ayodele warns against underestimating ADC in 2027, and NNPCL raises fuel price in Abuja and Lagos. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The World News at 12 begins outside the shores of Nigeria, where Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is prepared to unveil an updated Gaza war plan designed to destroy Hamas and secure the release of dozens of hostages, with Israeli media reporting he would order the total occupation of the Palestinian territory. Netanyahu was expected to meet security chiefs in Jerusalem to issue new orders, even as Israel's diplomats convened a UN Security Council meeting in New York to highlight the plight of Israelis held in Gaza. The timing of the security meeting has not been officially confirmed. Netanyahu said on Monday it would be in the coming days. Israeli broadcaster Channel 12 said Netanyahu would meet the Army Chief of Staff and the Defense and Army Ministers. Unnamed senior officials told Israeli media he intends to order the reoccupation of Gaza. While the reconquest plan has not been officially confirmed, it has already drawn an angry response from the Palestinian Authority and Gaza's Hamas-run government, which insisted it will not shift its position on ceasefire talks domestically. The desperate and vocal families of the 49 remaining hostages are demanding a ceasefire to bring their loved ones home. Back home in Nigeria, residents, commuters and traders were left frustrated on Monday as flash floods swept through several communities and streets in Lagos, following intense rainfall that began on Sunday night and persisted intermittently throughout Monday. The downpour, which started around midnight, led to severe flooding on both the island and the mainland, crippling trade and economic activities across Nigeria's commercial hub. Many residents took to social media to cry for help, sharing images and videos of submerged homes, vehicles and streets. Viral videos showed large swathes of Ijede in Ikorodu underwater, with residents wading through floodwaters or stranded. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has cautioned politicians and political parties against engaging in premature campaign activities ahead of the 2027 general elections. The warning follows a growing wave of endorsements allegedly in favor of President Bola Tinubu. In a statement, Rotimi Oyekami, the chief press secretary to the INEC chairman, warned that the electoral body has not yet issued a timetable or schedule for the next election cycle, and therefore all forms of early campaign remain unlawful. This comes amid criticism from opposition figures and civil society groups who have accused loyalists of the president of violating the Electoral Act by drumming up support for a second term through posters, public rallies and unofficial declarations. Quoting Section 94, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act, Oyekami reminded stakeholders that official campaigns can only commence 150 days before the election and must end 24 hours before polls open. He also referenced Section 95, subsection 1, which mandates that campaigns conform to INEC regulations. INEC disclosed that the issue had been raised during its most recent consultative meeting with political parties and urged all actors to comply strictly with the legal framework guiding elections. In a recent development, the leader of the INRI Evangelical Spiritual Church, Primate Elijah Ayodele, has warned Nigerian governors not to underestimate the opposition coalition platform of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), stating that the party will unseat some of them. Primate Ayodele made it known that the coalition platform has the power to take over some seats in Nigeria, and governors must work very hard to ensure they retain their state. In a statement by his media aide, Oluwatosin Osho, the prophet made it known that some of the governors in Nigeria cannot win a re-election in 2027 except through rigging. 2 days ago, Primate Ayodele had warned certain state governors about their re-election plans, stating that their bid isn't certain and that only prayer can help them secure victory again. Stakeholders within the People's Democratic Party (PDP) are pushing for a consensus approach in selecting a new party chairman, with former Minister of Information Professor Jerry Gana, former party chairman Kawu Baraje, and ex-Kaduna State Governor Ahmed McAfee reportedly among those eyeing the position ahead of the party's national convention scheduled for November 15. Reliable party sources who spoke on condition of anonymity due to lack of authorization to speak on the matter told journalists that the acting national chairman Umar Damagum was also working to secure the role in a substantive capacity. At the same time, members of the party's National Executive Committee called for credible and competent individuals with proven track records to enter the race, though opinion remained divided on the idea of a consensus candidate. Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Nyesom Wike warned that the PDP's handling of leadership positions in the South and Southeast regions could jeopardize the success of the upcoming convention in Ibadan, Oyo State. Reacting to the development, Bala Ibrahim, Director of Publicity for the ruling APC, said the internal conflicts and personalities in the PDP could signal the party's collapse at the November convention. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has increased the pump price of petrol at its retail outlets nationwide. In Abuja and surrounding areas, the price has risen to 955 naira per litre, representing a 65 naira increase from the previous rate of 890 naira. In Lagos, NNPC retail stations now sell petrol for 915 naira per litre, up from 865 naira. The latest hike has sparked concerns among commuters and business owners already struggling with high inflation and cost of living. The new prices have taken effect across several NNPC stations in Abuja's Central Business District, Wuse, Bega, Nyanya, and Mararaba in neighboring Nasarawa State. Meanwhile, some independent marketers were selling at varying rates. The NNPCL had not issued an official statement on the increase. However, the adjustment follows an upward revision of the ex-depot petrol price by Dangote Refinery from 820 naira per litre to 858 naira per litre. You are currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We took a short break and return with more stories and the news analysis segment. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still listening to World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. In a surprising twist that signals shifting political sentiment, Bashir Ahmed, former digital communications aide to ex-President Muhammadu Buhari, has publicly acknowledged the rising popularity of Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi in northern Nigeria. Responding to a tweet by Malam Jabir, who described claims that Obi is unknown in the region as delusional, Bashir Ahmed admitted, "Honestly, events and realities are pushing more people to know about him." The statement made on Monday, August 4, has since sparked widespread reactions across political and social media spaces. Joining me to discuss these and other issues on the World News at 12 this afternoon, I have Mr. Awa Omiko. He is a journalist as well as a political, social and national affairs analyst. Mr. Awa Omiko, good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Awa Omiko. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's get right into the conversation. The former digital communications aide to late ex-President Muhammadu Buhari, that is Bashir Ahmed, has publicly acknowledged that Obi has a rising popularity and rising influence in the northern part of the country. This is even though the Arewa Forum and different people from the north have been saying that Obi does not appeal to the north and that the north will not support him. They will rather support their own or support President Bola Tinubu come 2027. With this admittance coming from someone who, worked with the late former president, would you agree with him that yes, Obi's popularity is rising in the north? And how would this actually influence or impact on his election in 2027, since he has said that he will run for president, but we don't know under which party yet?
Yes, there's no doubt about that. But don't be surprised that what happened in Lagos may likely repeat itself, owing to the political character and the political education and sensitization of the northern people. It is one thing to be to be everywhere on the Facebook and be promoted everywhere, just as it happened in Lagos. But it's another thing of those that matters, and those that matter in voting and those that matter in content. Have they been able to accept you? And remember that in Nigeria, there is this parochial character of people voting for ethnicity and ethnic group. The North are not, and are never too comfortable with an Igbo man. The truth must be said, because the North, and they always are afraid of the Igbo. No matter what you present, an average Northerner will tell you doesn't trust the Igbo. So Obi may just be popular among the youth, but may not be. Hello,
I'm with you, Mr. Awa Omiko.
Yeah, they may not be too popular. May not be popular with those that matter up there, like the people, like those that will actually go out cast the vote. The North will always vote for them, except if there's going to be a political re-engineering and mind-setting, political awareness and agitation that will galvanize Obi as the real choice of the people. The Arawa has not spoken. It's just an individual that has spoken, and it's just the fear of the Igbo man that is certain things that need to be conquered first before Obi can actually be said to be entrenched. In the south here and in Lagos, in the south and in Lagos, you know that Obi is very popular, and you can even show that the way the votes came and the way Labour Party came. But what happened in this local government within Lagos? Despite the popularity Obi carried previously, anybody would have said, with that popularity, everything, all the local government chairmen would be Labour Party. But no, because the people went in there and did a political re-engineering, and that is exactly what is happening. So if that can be done, if Obi has the technical know-how, I mean, his people, his campaigners, and those that have accepted him up north have the technical know-how to do the political re-engineering, then Obi will surely be the candidate of choice.
You're saying no matter you're saying no matter his popularity, because the Northerners tend to want to veer towards their own, even if this is someone who has a track record of not working for their own good, they don't mind going with that person as long as it's not a Southeasterner.
Yes.
And you're saying this is not just about anyone from the South, but people from the Southeast.
Yes. Look at the political history. Look at that voting pattern. Look at the characteristics of the people. You will discover that has been the way they follow. That's from 1960, even 54. The first election was done up till now. That characteristic still remains. But Obi needs to work hard. There is no harm in forming a coalition with the Northerners to actually be at the realm of power. Thank you.
Talking about Obi working hard, what do you think about his strategy so far? Some Nigerians are not happy with the way he's been doing his things. He needs to. I can hear you, Mr. Awa Omiko. Can you hear me? I can hear you, Mr. Awa. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. I say some Nigerians are not happy with the way Obi is carrying on, right? Yes, he grants interviews every other day. He writes on social media. Many times we see what he's written, but that some people think that he needs a media team to speak for him. He needs a media team to shed more light on what he did as governor, on what he's been able to do, on his philanthropic efforts. He needs a media team to speak for him. Was it not last week or 2 weeks ago we are hearing, the PDP may adopt Obi as his candidate? He allowed that narrative run for a while before debunking it.
If you look at the person of Obi, it's like he's battling with trust, with trusting people wholeheartedly. If you look at his person and the way he has been going about doing his thing, if you look at his the crisis he had within the Labour Party itself, where the supporters and the so-called obedient group are speaking from both sides of their mouths. And if you look at all the other people, or how they've been, in fact, he believes there has never been anybody that can technically and that can, hello?
I'm with you, Mr. Awamiko. I can hear you. I'm with you.
He is of this concept that nobody can speak his mind better than the way he can do that. All you need to do, just as you pointed out, he needs a professional media team, a strategist. He needs strategists to place him in the light and at the mind of the people. Obi cannot do it alone, and that is why most of the things he has been like a flash in the pan, because he has not been able to gather the right technical teams to work for him. You look at the pedigree in the LP, and you look at him even moving. He said last time he said it's going to be PDP. Last time he said it's going to be APC. Last time you can see the talking around. But if there had been a strategic people, the strategists to put him aright, I think these doubts wouldn't be there. But be that as it may, it all shows that Obi is clamoring for a stable party and is clamoring for a stable position, a stable stage that will launch him out the way it is. And for me, if you look at if I give and take, as he's leaving LP to another party to somebody like me, I still don't see him as a credible politician. As a credible politician, in the sense that a credible politician should be able to have his philosophy, his political philosophy, and he should be able to use a platform to work for that. But it's quite unfortunate in Nigeria. We don't have politicians. All what we have are jobbers, and there are people just clamoring for power. It's not people clamoring for any political and philosophical change. No. You are LP today. In the next election, because you didn't win as LP presidential candidate, you run to PDP. You didn't win, you run to APC. You didn't win, you run to ADC. Does that make a politician? It makes them flirtatious, and because they are flirtatious, they are politically flex, and that is why they will never be held accountable. Can never be held to any political gimmicks. And that is why they keep on having all manners of people coming to work for them. In fact, I sympathize with Obi, but I had expected him to have a credible platform, being a young man and being somebody with a track record, a good track record, other than others, and being somebody that has this large following. He should be able to maintain a political party and maintain a stand. Thank you.
Okay, I want to quickly. Mr. Awa Omiko, I want to talk about INEC. Are you with me?
Yeah.
I want to talk about INEC warning politicians and political parties against premature campaigning ahead of the 2027 elections. Now, this warning reportedly follows a growing wave of endorsement allegedly in favor of the president. Now, the INEC is saying that it has not yet issued a timetable or a schedule for the next election, so all forms of early campaign remain unlawful. Now, many Nigerians are happy that INEC is saying this because we've seen several different situations whereby it may not be a political gathering, but once an APC governor is there, the next thing you start hearing about is like they are campaigning for the president ahead of 2027. In fact, there have been campaign posters spotted in the FCT in Abuja, Tinubu for 2027 and all of that. These are people who know what the Electoral Act says about when this campaigning is supposed to start, but they are not even adhering to this anymore. It's almost as if the law in Nigeria is now a suggestion. Any act is a suggestion, because you have lawmakers jumping from one party to another and not losing their seats, with different reasons. You have a lot of different things happening in this country whereby the people who are making the law, the political elites, they're the ones breaking the law. They're not even following the law. So what would you say about what INEC has said, and especially since this seems to be in response to people's endorsement of the sitting president?
Anyway, it is better late than never. It is better late than never. If I can take you back to 1979, it all depends on our laws. in 1979, as clearly stated as the law was, Abiola Abiola himself wore a campaign garment. His agbada was SDP, and that also was, he even campaigned that day. The day of election, and NEC then, FEDECO then didn't do anything. It shows that if you look at our electionary laws and electoral processes, it favors the sitting government. It favors the party, the people in power. It favors those that can wrangle their ways out of trouble. Abiola would have, when maybe one way or the other, wrangled his way out of trouble. Though people would criticize him, but NEC did not say anything. The FEDECO then did not say anything. And if you look at here again, what is happening now, what is playing out now, it shows the biasness of INEC as an umpire. Right from when this has started, it is a thing they would have started ringing the bell. That was why I said it is earlier. It is better late than never. And this is what they have said. They should try the law. Let's put the law into act. Let's try it. And those that have broken the law, let's bring them to book. But INEC seems not to be doing this. Until the law is brought to book, is put into practice, the politicians will never stop. And believe you me, with what you have noted, there will still be more politicking and campaign.
You are saying you don't expect the governors and supporters of the APC to actually adhere to what the INEC has said. So INEC is just saying its own, and when the time comes, these people will go, because we have people even climbing the pulpit in churches, people going to religious gatherings and still campaigning there as if we are in campaign season.
Look at what Erufai said in Sokoto. He turned that platform to a campaigning ground, and people are still going. And I said, until the law is tried, until you hold somebody and say, this is what you have done, and no matter the party, either APC or PDP or any other party, no matter the party, until those that have breached the law they are brought to book, nothing will happen. And that is why we need to reject our law. We need to reject our electoral law, and we need to make INEC independent. Let INEC be independent of the government in power. By the time INEC becomes an independent organization, all this will not be happening. Because remember, it is he that plays the piper that it takes the tune. So INEC is attached to the upper stream of the sitting government, and that is why you see INEC acting like a toothless bulldog. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Awa Omiko. But let's talk about another issue, and that is the PDP chairmanship race, right? We have former Minister of Information, Professor Jerry Ghana, former party chairman, Kawu Baraje, ex-Kaduna State Governor Ahmed Makafi, reportedly among those who are eyeing the position of the PDP chairman ahead of the party's national convention scheduled for November 15. There is no gainsaying the fact that right now a lot of Nigerians believe that the PDP is more or less a carcass. The PDP is like skeletal, and that's the only party that the APC can stomach, that they can tolerate, because it seems that the PDP right now, they have nothing to offer. A number of members of the PDP have told Wike to stop speaking on behalf of the party, since he works with the APC, and from all indications, from everything he's doing, it's as if he's just with the APC government and just has his leg in the PDP, so it will not look as if he has left. Can whichever chairman emerges from this convention steer the PDP right ahead of the 2027 elections? Because that will be one thing that chairman would have to surmount very, very soon.
Well, if you look at it's quite unfortunate that the biggest party in Africa was just crushed overnight. It's quite unfortunate. And that has to do with the managers of the party. And with Wike is like a sour grape. It's like a sour grape in the party. And until the likes of Wike are removed, that party will have no peace. And if you look at it, good. In politics, anything could happen. That can be a mistake. And already people are beginning to clamor for an alternative to APC. Already people are beginning to say that there seems to be vacancy in the presidency. But which party will occupy that vacancy? It all depends on how each of the parties could manage themselves. But if you look at it critically, the only party that can match APC, I doubt for now that if the percentage is not 50-50, except they wake up, is PDP. If you look at other parties, where is the platform?
You are saying that even with the current structure of the current, what seems to be skeletal structure of the PDP, they are the only ones who can match the APC in 2027. Even with their presidential candidate in 2023, Atiku Abubakar, leaving the party for the ADC, with a lot of party members moving to the ADC and moving to the APC. What structure does the PDP have to stand against the APC right now?
The party could rise as a phoenix. Do you know the tale of the phoenix bird? The party could rise like a phoenix. And APC, being what it is now, it could be wrecked just like Goliath fell because of the managers. But if they are not able to harness themselves, if they are not able to put up, tighten the losing knot, it will remain a forgotten party. But if they can do that, they'll come back to the stage like a phoenix. And I stand and I put it to you that if PDP brings out its people and are able to restate and re-strategize, they are the only party that can match APC. Already people are clamoring, let APC go, let APC go. All those people you see, they are crossing over to APC. And they are crossing over because of powers and so much infrastructure. By the time the party moves, you equally see them run over to PDP again. In fact, in Nigeria, there is no politicians. All what we have are those clamoring for space just to be recognized. Because political ideology is dead and died in 1979 with the old politicians. And what we are seeing now is just power play and the people recognizing just wanting to occupy a space so that they can have retirement benefits. But if PDP could within the little frame of time and say, yeah, this is what we have, this is what it is, this is what it is, and things are put in the right perspective, they are the only party that can match APC. In terms of criticism, in terms of personality, in terms of cash, and in terms of who takes what. But if they allow themselves to be on the floor forever, APC will continue to give us these expired and not trusted policies in the name of statecraft. Thank you.
One conversation Nigerians have continued to have is on a rotational presidency between the South and the North, though unofficial, says a gentleman's agreement. Sowore has come out to say that to him it is nonsensical, the idea of rotational presidency, that whoever is competent should be the one that Nigerians should follow. Nigeria needs a good leader, and that rotational presidency cannot allow for such. If we keep saying, oh, it's the turn of the South, it's the turn of the North, and also Wike says that's one of the reasons he did not support Atiku Abubakar in 2023. Many people are saying Atiku Abubakar should not be the presidential candidate of the ADC. Do you agree with Sowore that rotational presidency is nonsensical?
You see, the democracy is defined by the people. And the democracy, the type of democracy you choose depends on the type of crisis you have. The Americans decide to choose their own type, the presidential democracy, which is expensive and which is what we have adopted, and but modified to even be more expensive than the so-called US. So if Mr. Showore should look at into political histories across the world and political organizations across the world, you will discover that no two states, no two countries, no two can practice the same one ideal the same way it should be. And that is what is playing out in Nigeria. If rotational presidency will solve our crisis, let it be. But if it wouldn't, let us allow the best candidate to match. If people are clamoring, just like somebody like me, I'm clamoring for regionalism. I'm not even saying rotational for this presidency. I'm not even asking for that. Let us have regionalism and true federalism. True federalism to the core will bring out the best candidates. It is not a matter of rotational. If it becomes rotational, anybody can produce anything. But if that rotational will solve our crisis, will stop this killing, will stop political jobbers, let it be. But if it will not stop, let us even use this political dispensation, this political ideas we have, and practice it to the fullest. Let federalism be practiced to the fullest, and let people at the grassroots equally be partisans. You will discover that true federalism will bring out the true characters of Nigeria, and that should be the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Awa Omiko. Let's quickly talk about the increase in the price of petrol. The NNPC raised fuel prices in Abuja, Lagos, all across its retail outlets nationwide just yesterday. The price has risen to as much as 955 naira per litre, almost 1,000 naira. And many Nigerians are not happy about this, especially when you consider the fact that about 2 weeks ago, when this price was reduced, it was reduced by like 5 naira. But when it's to be increased, it's been increased by almost 100 naira. Are we seeing a situation whereby Nigerians will be buying fuel for more than 1,000 naira soon? What exactly is this price war? What does it mean? What does it portend for Nigerians?
Well, it still shows we are still not serious. We are still playing politics with economic theories and with economic implementations. Even in the East, they started selling at over 1,000. In the East, that even produced in neighboring states, so River State and Bayelsa, you buy for over 1,000. And yet, we always mention Lagos and Abuja to say Nigerians. So it shows we are still not serious about the petroleum sector. We should, by now, we should have overcome that problem. And overcoming the problem shows that we should allow the real policy to be implemented. Let us remove the middlemen, the suckers. Those are the people beef with at the time, referred as the cockroaches and rats in the system. And Kensarua described them as a vulture and the suckers and the bed box. Let's remove them. Let's be strong enough to remove them. And that goes back to our judicial system. In terms of crime, if our judicial system is not strong enough, we can't do anything. If our judicial system is not powerful enough to say, these people have offended and let's bring them to book and punish them. You see, when we begin to talk about laws and crime and criminality, we should simply use the Chinese and the US, we should use the Chinese and the Russian example to apply. They will know that once to apply to Nigerian laws, they will know that once you commit a crime, an economic crime, your punishment is death. Until we begin to bring that to book, we will never move away. There are people not fully controlling this system. We say when Dangote comes to stream, everything will drop. But now, even with the presence of Dangote, the monopolists are there fighting him underground. We have failed to be patriotic. We are still nationalists.
Are they the only ones fighting him? Isn't he also fighting them? He has told the federal government to ban fuel importation.
No, I don't say. I know. In economics and in marketing, there must be the big wig, and you just have to bulldoze your way through. But when it comes to national issues, those big wigs and those theories of pushing your way through does not apply. Because we are talking about the national image. We are talking about. Do you know what it means? If for the price to continually be on the increase, it shows that the cost of production will be very, very high. Have you ever bothered to see that many companies are closing and relocating, and some people are choosing to work only one day in a week, and some people are working remotely? What is the implications? What are the implications of these things to the economy, to the people? But rather, with these theories and with this system, because of the oil, people are becoming poorer every day. Some can no longer afford the essential things because Nigerian economy is attached to oil. And this is one thing federal government should know and shouldn't toy with that prices, with the prices of fuel. Now look at it, where you normally go with 200 naira and go and come back. Now with 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, you are still on the way, and salaries remains the same. So it is highly a disgraceful thing that as big as we are, we can't control our oil sector. And I wonder what APC government is doing. This is one of the things APC government promised, but now it is the reverse. So until we go back, remove the suckers, remove those middlemen that keep on causing this problem, things can never work. I am surprised things can never work. In fact, the biggest oil producing country in West Africa and sixth in the world. And look at how we are messing up ourselves. We should be able to fight foreign inflation, and we should be able to withstand with the Boshazus that are in the country, milking the economy. And until we face them face to face and overcome them with the laws and otherwise, things will never work. And the price will keep on be on the increase. Thank you.
Mr. Amiko, there is a lot to overcome. Lagos is flooded. There's been flash floods since the rain that began at almost 12 midnight on Sunday. It's been falling non-stop in some areas, and many Nigerians are complaining about the flood in their areas. Now, what many Nigerians have also been complaining about before now, is like they call it like the dredging of the lagoon, feelings on places and then building. It's almost as if we're pushing back the ocean, but when it rains, it comes back, to bite us. And now many people are fleeing their communities. Right here in the heart of Lagos, in Ikorodu, people are fleeing their communities because they can no longer leave. The flood is waist high, right? So I want to hear your thoughts about that.
If you could go back to the master plan of former Lagos State Governor, I think that should be at Fashola. And if you go back to the plans of Babakekere, Jakonde, I'll use these two people because I don't have done anything credible on those areas. Lagos, we should know, is below the sea. There are some areas should be a no-go area. But I am very, very surprised that even those no-go areas, the vital regions have even been sold out and built up. When you sell up your buffet regions and the areas that are not supposed to be occupied, these are some of the things we will expect. When they are filling, they should have built the upland areas and allow those areas along the banks of the ocean and others to be free, to be served as an open space. Look at what happened to Bar Beach. Do you know how much billions of dollars sunk into Bar Beach to push it forward? And do you think water will react? Water will surely react. So what Lagos needs to do is to have a replan of the residential areas and leave those water areas, leave it as an open space. Nature will always ask for its own. You look at Delta, same what is happening here will equally happen in Delta in years to come with what is happening with River Niger. You look at if you leave the ocean, if you keep on dredging the ocean and dredging it, there is no how you will make Lagos an upland city. It can never happen because Lagos, by United Nations finding, is underwater, and we shall keep on experiencing flooding. But Lagos State government should help so that the flooding the flooding will not be too much by allowing those coastal areas to be free, by continually dredging the sea, by desilting the canals, and by making sure that all those flood-prone areas are deserted. Don't allow Omonile to take possession. Take control and make people, it will be better for people to move towards areas like Ogun State than to advance to the ocean, where after a serious rain, they will desert their houses. So it is waste of economic earnings, and that remains my stand.
Thank you, Mr. Awa Omiko, for joining me on the World News at 12 this afternoon. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's been an insightful conversation. You have been listening to World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that ceasefire talks have collapsed as Israel plans expanded military operation in Gaza. INEC warns politicians over Premature 2027 campaigns. Primate Ayodele warned against underestimating ADC in 2027. And then NPCR raises fuel price in Abuja and Lagos. That is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Chioma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP903FM. For coverage of your live event and brand news mentions in our news bulletins, do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. To stay tuned, coming up shortly will be Matters with Solomon Ofem.